Twitter, X, that was bought a long time ago and now became this checkmate move that has rendered the entire media landscape naked. US has not been an option up until this point. If you're in the crypto space, US has been a very bad option to be in. And right now it's becoming the de facto option.
You're telling me you're gonna just buy for $10 million this coin that is about...
Jesus coin and memes might be the most important, let's say, constant prediction market that the world needs for ideas. If you just do one thing, study agents.
Just a smart contract, very, let's say, transparent, everything is blocked, you put it in the pool
and it's gone.
Ladies, gentlemen, friends, and builders, welcome to the third episode of the Full Chart podcast. I'm Benjamin Minku, and I'm here with
Lucian Minku
and
Lucian Todia,
co-founders of MultiversX, and we're building the most advanced blockchain supercomputer that scales trust, truth, and human collaboration. This is the front seat to our journey of building this technology startup, an entire ecosystem, and the set of challenges, experiences, and lessons that we encounter and go through. Welcome to the Full Chart podcast. This is the coolest podcast about tech, startups, and life in general that you've never heard of. So, guys, welcome. It's really great to have you back here. And I mean, a lot has happened. A lot has happened, you could say, just in the last night, the last day. How do you feel about things?
We're so back.
Maybe we should mention what date we are recording this.
Yes, for the future of humanity.
For the future.
So this is the day immediately after the election. In the US, it's the 5th of November, and here it's, I think, the 5th of November as well. 6th.
No idea.
Yeah. But how do you feel about the general vibe that's in the air right now? Before we go into the stuff and maybe cover a bit key points or the things that we'll go into, how do you feel about what's happening in the world right now?
You want to start?
Sure. I think... especially for the crypto industry, there's a big day today. I think a lot of builders couldn't wait to say, fuck you, Gary. It's the day. I mean, it's time to cut that one. And definitely, I think a lot will change. At least the perspective is extremely bullish on tech, on crypto industry, on markets, at least for now. But more than happy actually and curious to hear what you guys think.
Well, the idea is just to mention that today is Wednesday. The official results of US elections are not there yet, but it's like 99% Trump is the next president. When I woke up this morning, first thing I saw the Bitcoin price before seeing the news. And I said, yes, it's 99% Trump will be the next president.
Priced in.
Yeah, it was priced in, but still the markets reacted. The crypto market is interesting, including I've seen some reports, including the stock markets, and including the European stock market opened high. Of course, the US dollar it increased compared to euros and other even more.
Exactly.
But from tech space, for crypto space, it seems that is good news because Trump changed his mind in the last few years, and now is supporting the crypto space and the technology. The one thing I was not very aware, because I was not like looking very closely exactly what is happening there, but one thing that caught my attention was the one thing that it seems very important for the economy in US and probably the rest of the world is the so-called deregulation. And of course, I think cutting taxes and stuff like that might be interesting, at least for US and hopefully for the rest of us.
Look, I think we've got a lot of cool things to discuss about, and maybe I'll just share a bit for the people looking at the episode. So we'll obviously cover the elephant in the room, just share some insights, lessons, some predictions, all around the election, how this looks for the US, how this looks for Europe and maybe the rest of the world, how this looks for the tech space in general, the crypto space in specific, and even how this looks for MultiversX. Some interesting and crazy ideas that we're going to explore. We're also going to discuss a bit about X-Day, some impressions, lessons, insights and signals that we've gotten from what was happening there. Then, of course, memes, because they rule the world, and also a bit about AI. Then at the end, some fun stuff, some cool new things that we're thinking about and playing around and all of that. So it's great to have you guys here. And I think we should definitely begin with election discussion. So maybe framing it a bit and asking some questions around this. I think it's too close maybe to grasp the impact or implications of what is happening right now. But to have a country where the president is not only bullish on technology and crypto, but is doing himself a project in the crypto space, that's a bit crazy, but the right kind of crazy. The boldness and energy that Trump brings to the table, I think, is very polarizing for some people. But then it also opens up a completely different discussion. And my also framing here or point is, I'm not only extremely excited because of some of the policies that we've heard about and we might discuss a bit about, but I'm also extremely excited because of this Avengers team, if you will, that's with Trump, that he's not alone, because alone he cannot do anything. But as we've seen with Musk and some of these other people, you cannot not pay attention to this. He'll force you to pay attention. So I'm curious, maybe one, have you looked at preparations for the election day, and then did you believe that it will be a kind of landslide win? And what would you say has been the defining factor that has won or decided, made the people decide in this direction? Curious, whichever of you.
I think it was a surprise the way he's winning. It seems he's winning because it's like a very categoric winning as far as the latest data shows. I believe the best thing Trump probably made in this campaign was to gather behind him the crypto space. I think was do it very, very clear. Because I know the Democrats also said that they are not necessarily against, but they were not very clear. It was very vaguely what they going to do if they will remain, keep some control. I'm not sure House or the Senate or the presidency. So this was a very good thing because he did it in a very strong and as I said, I mentioned before, the people that are into crypto are very vocal, are very attached to this, and they will they rally behind him. Also, going a little bit beyond the crypto and the technology space, where you have all these great tech companies. I'm not sure. I know, for example, that Google is the biggest donor for the Democrats.
Yeah,
so it was not that, but
a bad position to be in.
Actually, just sorry to interrupt, but last night they just excused themselves. Actually, that Google search was specifically hiding the results. the maps, the
where
voting
to
maps
vote.
for where if people would search for where to vote for the Trump. Crazy. I mean, they got a few tickets, a few fines from I think the during the last months with the competition, non-compete in the market with Google search and so forth. But I think right now they're gonna get a double ticket on that.
So I guess probably because we are in the crypto and tech space, probably might be a little bit subjective on this, but I've seen some reports that this was probably one of the most important moves for Trump. Because actually, as far as I understood, there were three major themes on this election: was the abortion, democracy, and the economy. And it seems that Democrats were like winning on the first two, abortion and democracy, but they were losing on the economy. I mean, how people are living after 4 years, and of course there was the COVID and everything. And it seems that this was more important for the people, this part and what Trump is promising from an economic point of view.
If you were to say what was the tipping point or the deciding factor, if you were to say one thing, what do you think has made that shift, deciding moment that then just accelerated this conclusion?
Well, I think, as always in election, is also if your opponent is weak and you become inevitably stronger. But if you are also strong, at least on how you articulate things, what you say. So I believe this was also like not only a winning of the Republicans, but also losing for Democrats. They were also, changing Biden in the last 3 months, not being very clear for some stuff. And this is also a thing that I think a lot in the last, let's say, days is how many votes for Trump were pro-Trump or against Democrats. Of course, it's always not very clear, including probably in the minds of the ones that are going to votes. But it's interesting to understand how much was against and how much was like, it's not necessarily, of course, if it's pro, it's also against.
Yes.
Some like choosing, in Romania we have this saying, choosing the, least
evil
or something.
The little evil.
The little evil or something. I'm not sure how it's in English. But nevertheless, that's coming back to your question. So I guess the tipping point was the Democrats being really, really not consistent or making up their minds what they want to do, or being very clear on some things, and Trump being very good on doing on campaigns and getting people signed, and having Elon Musk and all the, let's say, non-classical social media or media on your side was I guess the tipping point.
Lucian?
Sure, Benny, I'll let you first. I think
So I look at this probably in a very different light, and of course, as you said, 100% biased because of our view on technology and how we look at things. But I think this is a kind of great renaissance moment for the US, for ambition, for optimism about the future, optimism about technology and growth that we've not had in a long time, precisely because of 1,000 stupid reasons. And I like the framing that Musk put on this, that this is almost the giant that is America is finally being freed up. And he likened this to Gulliver, which was this crazy giant that was tied down by 1,000 small ropes by these midgets, small people, and so forth. And what he was basically saying is, we've reached the point where regulation has so much suffocated everything that it's beyond ridiculous how far we've come, and how much everything that you would try to do is illegal by default, which is to state that about the US, it's absolutely horrendous. So the founding fathers looking at the state of the country maybe 1 month ago, would have been probably horrified, and there would have been a kind of outcry on where they started from and how it was going, how it started and how it was going. And I think even more than that, so that just sets the context, but there is a massive vibe shift in terms of who has finally become active in even in voting and so forth, because generally most of the people that you resonate with, we resonate with, do not even care. They don't engage because they're too passive, always busy with something else. And I do believe that the critical tipping point here was Elon Musk engaging and then upping the game completely, because he was just everywhere, day and night. And he has made a few things possible, but the central point that we came back to was Twitter, X, that was bought a long time ago and now became this checkmate move that has rendered the entire media landscape naked. If you will, like the media guys are probably still wondering what's happening. There's a big cognitive dissonance where they were living in this parallel world, trying to project that Kamala was winning and so forth. So I think there's a massive shift in how people feel, how they want to get engaged in the economy and do something and contribute. And I very much believe that this is not only about Trump. Great that he champions some of these ideas, but when you see someone like Musk and a bunch of other people, because there are many on the tech space that are founders, that are doers and so forth, that are engaging in a kind of life and death position. Like they're not there to back off and they're not there to just discuss. When I see that and I'm imagining what's going to happen to the government, to the Senate, to all the bureaucratic system in the US, I'm finally getting excited about politics like never before. Like I typically would never engage too much and so forth. There's a saying like politics is the mind killer. Whenever you're discussing this, it's like your IQ drops to near zero and it's very hard to engage on some of the topics. But now I feel an energy unlike anything I've seen in any other country. And we're probably going to dig a bit deeper into this, but it's massive, I would say. And super curious to hear your thoughts a bit, Lucian.
Yeah, I think I'm just for context, I was not interested my entire life into this kind of subjects, or at least never came too much to my attention. However, from a tech perspective, I'm amazed actually the amount of power put by entrepreneurs or private companies towards a specific move. Like just think about a bit on the Musk acquisition of Twitter, paying $44 billion, foreseeing the amount or the contribution needed to the next election years before, taking it, solving it in time, preparing it actually, and then also be showing up on time to have more distribution than the president, than any other channel. That's pretty much beats any kind of expectations that or imagination that I had until now when it comes to how crazy and how far someone can go. Like what's the, if you would think from outside, what's a number? What's the limit that you ever could imagine that someone puts at stake? And just putting 50 billion and his life, and then stepping into the front seat and showing on stage, that actually I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about how many levels of craziness and insanity has exceeded when it comes to the motivation of someone to do that. So and also very very interesting. Also regards to that there was a video, a very short video from Thiel, from I think the last days, just gave an interview and said rule number 1: never bet against Musk. Like there's just as simple as that. Don't. And also just thinking a bit again, just 50 billion and his life, and then everything on top tells you a bit the stake at which the guy is playing. And also then once you have one kind of guy backing this kind of narrative, then you basically get an entire army around. It takes one insane guy, one crazy guy.
I think too that, but
yeah, I mean there were definitely more, but I think it takes first one that sets the trend, sets the fire into the room, and then pretty much it becomes contagious.
Going maybe into the meat and also perhaps exciting part. What would be some predictions that you guys would make about the tech space and the economy, and maybe some shifts, two, three bold things that you see as an effect of this type of change that is happening, maybe especially for the tech space in general, and then we'll come a bit to the crypto space, much more specific.
Maybe one thing not necessarily related to tech, but a little bit coming back to Europe, let's say. The first thing with Trump being the president was that, let's say, for Europe is not the best thing, because probably he mentioned in his campaign there will be some protecting
tariffs and all of that,
US, and being harder for Europe to send products there and stuff like that. On the other hand, and this is pretty new, in the last few days I've seen the president of France, Germany, saying that now Europe, it's interesting expression, doesn't have to outsource so much to US, probably from a military, especially from a military point of view, considering what is happening in Ukraine, but also from an economic point of view. So although might be, let's say, not the best on the short term for Europe, although this is, let's say, is debatable, might be for medium and long term, might be a good thing for Europe to start to be more united, although this is something that will be very, very hard for Europe, at least from a historical point of view, although we do have European Union that is still, with good or bad, still an achievement to do that. So I guess for Europe, for short term, might be perceived as a negative. I believe on the medium and probably long term, this might be a good thing, because if Trump is going to, and this is not very clear, I mean, my personal opinion with Trump is you're not 100% sure.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing. You know, in a military scenario is this thing called playing the crazy, the crazy card, because if you are unpredictable, then it's very hard to bluff or to put some substance in any kind of, let's say, conflict or situation. So in this perspective, it has advantages and disadvantages. From a technology point of view, I've seen a lot of tech, let's say, founders and funds supporting Trump. I believe they know better than us. I'm always, have this kind of thinking that it's publicly known, and what's behind is usually it's more. I believe they probably know better than us, let's say, not being in US, at least for now. They know better.
Some of us.
At least some of us. So I believe they know better, and since this is something that we've never seen so much support in a very, let's say, vocal way, because we know companies are one of the companies in general, and tech companies especially are big donors to usually for both parties, because it's good to not bet on just one. So I believe we've seen, if something is, as far as I know, we've never seen before, railing behind Trump, a lot of the, as I said, tech founders, funds. So I believe if they are behind them, and having more information than us, for tech space is going to be good. And this is something true that we know. Having less regulation, although in the crypto space we sometimes want more regulation because there is no regulation.
We want more than nothing.
More than
but
nothing.
Definitely not.
And he's saying without killing innovation.
Yes,
and stuff
yes.
like that. So I believe from the tech space it's going to be a positive outcome. And since US, whether we like it or not, is the one that's setting the trend.
We like it now.
We like it. It seems that this is going to be, let's say, I've seen a lot of excitement on Twitter. This is like a new
dawn.
This is going to be sonic boom for the economy in general.
What would you say would be a good, let's say, economic prediction? If you'd make an economic prediction, given what you feel right now, for the next 2-4 years, especially for the tech space or for the economy, what
kind of prediction?
Like how
numbers?
Yes. Because that translates a bit the sentiment into something. Do you think we'll see growth, stagnation, or decline? To put it,
I have no idea. I mean, I know what I want.
Yes,
I know I want to say that it will be growth, and this is how capitalism usually works. It's growth. But there are always factors. For example, one of my biggest concern is how is going to, I think let's say one of the other elephants in the room is the Ukraine, how he's going to deal with Ukraine, because he made some very, let's say, bold statement that in, I don't know what exactly, a few days or months, this is going to...
I saw a meme this morning.
Who's the winner and who's the loser?
Yeah, that Kamala won in Ukraine today. I mean, and there were another tons of memes with Zelensky's face.
But I will make a prediction on the crypto.
So we'll get on the crypto. So without the crypto side, is there any prediction you'd make just for biggest winners or losers beside the crypto? Because crypto, we dig a bit deeper.
Bigger winners in terms of
in general. For instance, Zelensky being the biggest. You feel in. He's the biggest, and then
I don't think whatever Trump said that as I said, we have to take it
with a grain of salt.
I think that he will try to. It's tricky. It's tricky. I think. Funny enough, I think it will be good for Ukraine. I cannot explain why.
In whatever way.
I have some more memes, actually.
Yeah.
There was
I cannot explain why, because I know the general, let's say, consensus is that it's not good for Ukraine. For whatever reason, I think even with Trump, is going to be in a very
in the end
unpredictable.
Yes.
In the end, way, it's going to be good. I don't know how.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there was another meme when I think a couple of weeks back there were some floods in US, or I think months, some pretty bad floods and so forth, some storms, and then actually they renamed the state to Ukraine to get aid more faster than anything else. There was the part where actually they invited Zelensky to ask for some aid too.
So some predictions, some ideas.
If you look at Ray Dalio actually expressed very easily pretty much that every acknowledging the current state of the economy with the increased debt of states and rates and so forth, pretty much that becomes extremely heavy every time, and it's even a higher chance to implode actually on the country's economy. So what Ray says actually is that each new president and his entire cabinet job is to make sure that it does not implode under his seat. So I think if I would look from that perspective and look at all primitives that Trump has as a character, he will most probably detonate everything else, but let the country implode under his seat, right? So he will actually do the most ambitious things, I would say, to put it in a nice way, to keep keep the growth going into the States. I mean, if there's no growth, pretty much then the country is fucked. So let me put that, like the stake and the speed and the burden that actually has been created. If there is no good path, then obviously the other path is guaranteed a very bad one.
So maybe adding some color to the conversation, and then some predictions. I think the fight between Trump and Kamala has been symptomatic of a bigger fight that's happening in the world, where people have had these two types of almost religions, both of them being religions. One is victimhood with wokeness, with just all this twisted type of viruses where you win to the extent you're the greater victim. So the best thing you can do is to show that you're a victim, and then everyone will love you and give you some attention and so forth. And just to stop for 1 second and think how twisted this is, and what type of cancer you actually need for this to become your identity. It's very strange to comprehend how you reach that point. And then the alternative religion was almost the common sense view that you really need growth. At the end of the day, everything, literally everything, boils down to growth. And it's fascinating how if you have growth, growth in a country, growth in a company, growth in a team, how everything else realigns. If you don't have growth, then you'll have politics, then you'll have people eating each other, then you'll have people just fighting each other. And there has been this conversation that we had in the past episodes where there's accelerationism. In some sense, the idea that growth you get to the extent that you use technology more, invent new technologies and embed them as fast as possible in the economy, in whatever you're trying to build. And to the extent that you think that growth will come by stopping things, by just over-regulating them, by just fighting for politics and so forth, you're just degrading the entire game and making everyone be even more insane. So I think, at least in this respect, Trump and the Musk and some of the other guys understood that there's this fight for the world where the world wants more growth, wants to bet on technology, wants to bet on entrepreneurs, wants to bet on a way that you wake up the next day and you don't just discuss about how shitty life is and how bad it is, and you just make this your identity and discuss about it. At the end of the day, Musk was always repeating this idea that you want to wake up in the morning and really believe that something great is going to happen. And to the extent that you can bring this kind of feeling, this kind of will, this kind of ambition, and reignite it, I mean, that's insane. And I'll just note that if you look at, there was this great meme that was contrasting like people doing, I'm going to do all these meetings, I'm planning to do all this stuff for my week. And then Musk with that one-liner, what have you got done this week? And in that week, he landed the rockets. Neuralink had the second stage and FDA approval. Tesla was just demonstrating robocabs. Him just betting on the election to fix this and get himself involved. And so I think this is the kind of future that you really want to live in and fight for, even if it doesn't happen as you expect, right? This is why I think the position to hold is this, and you want to fight with all your energy for it, even though it might be only 50% of what we're fighting and so forth. This is literally the only position fighting, because if you're fighting for the wrong kind of future, you don't even have any chance at all. So
My only, let's say, concern or question is what will be the price for this growth? And this is not necessarily my personal opinion. It's something I've seen something regarding if democracy will be, or at least less good version of democracy we have now, will be the price for this growth. And also this considering a macro political point of view, where at least in the last 100 years, let's say US was, let's say, considered from a democracy point, from a political point of view. Of course, it's usually not an idealized version of democracy, even what we have before. But it will be interesting is what will be, if there will be a price, the democracy in US, and then of course all over the world will be a price for this growth that will be in terms of, let's say, more, or less democracy.
But I would point that question even against it a bit and ask what would be the price for any of the options, because I think this is a legitimate question. But the thing is, there 100% will be a price. The question is, what do you pay a price for? Because it's almost like this is the only question. If you have something to fight for, you'll almost pay any price.
Of course.
If you don't want to live in that future, then the price doesn't matter. So it's almost like in either respects, you'll say, price is not the thing that I'm interested in. I'm either going to live in that world, and for that world, I'll literally do whatever it takes. Or if not, then I'm in any case not interested.
This is very similar, coming to what I said before, is choosing the least, let's say the best version you have on the table, although it's not ideal. Of course, this will know only looking backwards. We'll actually really know if was let's say positive or bad. As it seems, let's say from what I said, from what those in US know, it seems this seems the best bet. With, of course, any version has pros and cons, but seems right now that this is the best version. And frankly, it's nothing you can do right now. I mean, even you can stop and think about the possible alternatives, but this, at least for 4 years or you cannot change this, and it's not. I mean, it's helpful if you are, I don't know, a journalist or an analyst. It's helpful to think about alternatives. For us, we have to think about the future and the next days.
And I think this is a great thing. You wanted to say something, then I'll.
No, so very very interesting approach. So even though the assuming that the next 4 years will be extremely productive for the U.S. economy and for the tech industry and so forth, and it will generate a tremendous amount of wealth and economic power in the U.S. However, generally speaking, the last years' development for the U.S. dollar have not been, geopolitically speaking, the best years for U.S., especially with multiple countries reducing their reserves in the US dollar, and then pretty much developing new trade systems, globally trade system with BRICS and other networks actually that will use a different currency. That again kind of questions a bit the also like zooming out of the what would happen today. That would still put us into the map. If you, and I think there was a very good visualization from Ray Dalio again with the shift of power, economic power around the world during multiple centuries, and kind of. Even though we don't want to, and as much as we want to delay the US dollar domination era and say no, it's still gonna work, it might come like everything else that came eventually to an end. Maybe not.
It's going to be replaced by Bitcoin.
Exactly. And that gets actually to the point that I've seen the best illustration that everybody until now was expecting, hey, it's going to be China. There's going to be the China or Asian markets that will dominate and will take over. And I cannot, every time I'm closing the eyes and I'm hearing all the discussion, actually, I saw the rise nicely put into the spectrum with Bitcoin coming up and actually becoming the new era. So I think that's a crazy version that I cannot foresee yet all the implication downstream. However, I'm the good part is to be part of it, right? I think that's my humble contribution.
I have no idea how could they make Bitcoin, because they will not control how much Bitcoin you can. They don't have the same. It's very different. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm saying it's going to be a different, let's say, play rules and stuff like that. But at least it's interesting to think about it on saying it. If it's doable, or they really gonna do it.
I'm not sure either. Then that's why I said I cannot foresee yet the implications. And that's also the good part. Like, that's something unpredictable and something that I think at least there is a good chance around it.
So maybe taking the projections or some predictions and then making it for the tech space in general, and then also crypto space, exploring some ideas. It's worth thinking through the lens of the US, we're thinking through the lens of the outside view, the rest of the world, and then we're thinking through some lens that is special interest groups and how this game changes. And I think this is very interesting, because in some sense, the US sets the signal and sets the rules. So the rules in what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. If, for instance, you're a pro-Bitcoin or pro-crypto, and I put you in prison, wherever you may be in the world, I'm finding you and I'm taking you to prison. That's a very strong signal that whatever you believe are the rules in your court, I'm setting the rules. And I think this has been the major vibe and signal that US has been sending over and over and over again. So one, the main pilot that should be at the wheel, which was the president, he was in a different world. Like, he left the room, was not in the, Rogan had this expression, he was not in the area, like completely left out left the building and was not coming back, not even in NPC mode, right? You could see that he's not there anymore. That's the biggest counter signal to a country. Second, you fight the most important economic drivers that bring you the growth. When you start preying on the entrepreneurs, taking them down, fighting them, and making them get convicted, that's a very hard illness to have, because it just means that you're going in the wrong direction. And then with respect to the rest of the world feels very quickly when there's no leader there. They will fight you, they will take the currency down, they will take the country down, and they will change the game just because they can. And once there's a leader in place, he's far from perfect. There will be many mistakes, but it's incomparable to not having a leader. And then incomparable to, like, the guy literally going to whoever you want, whether it's Putin, whether it's North Korea, whether it's the most difficult people, and looking them straight in the eye and making a deal, like strong-arming them.
The handshakes.
Strong-arming them. And this is very funny, but it speaks to human nature. At the end of the day, people forget, and I think this is the easiest thing to forget. Forget that we're human, right? We're reasoning about all these sophisticated things and so forth. But in the first 30 seconds when someone meets with Trump, they understand that the guy is going to, like, climb on top, do some crazy stuff. And precisely because of that, they'll behave a bit. They'll at least try to do some deals. And precisely because of that, he'll take the arm, strong arm it a bit. And
I'm not sure if you guys heard the interview of Mark Cuban, was, I think, on All In pod. And actually the guy literally had a beef on Trump, personally speaking, and explaining how Trump trolled him at the golf clubs and so forth, like on Twitter. Then after tweeting actually that he was carrying his golf stuff and literally that like in between billionaires. And just the guy tells you the energy that even if he's old, but having the genes to troll actually his enemy and making it just ordinary, like he's 14 years old and laugh about, tells you a lot that it's not the default guy, like the most political guy that you will just, and it comes from a different background. So yeah,
maybe making it now a bit more specific. I think my prediction will be there will be a complete vibe shift in America being again this kind of land of massive opportunity for technology in general, but then also for the crypto space. And then a kind of recalibration of entrepreneurs, doers, experts in technical fields and so forth. And this will actually be the driver of growth. Because at the end of the day, it always has been that this type of investments have paid off in a massive way. So if you look at Musk with Tesla and SpaceX and so forth, those were not bets started yesterday. Those were not bets started 10 years ago. Those were 20 plus year bets where he was close to dying. It was not obvious that it's going to succeed like this. And now it's all coming home, but making it intentional, just the place where you build technology, the place for which you're proud to build technology, the place for which you want the greatest ambition in the world to just come together, whether you're young, have energy and so forth. That has been at every point in time the reason why people were drawn to the US. But I think right now it's just going to go off scale. It will be the thing for which people reconsider potentially visiting, setting up office, doing stuff in the US. And I think for the crypto space, everything applies even generally to the tech space. But when it comes to the crypto space, so just closing the tech space in general, I think some bold predictions, all of Musk's companies will be multi-trillion-dollar endeavors. Like, and when I say multi-trillion, like I'm meaning upwards of 10 trillion. It's just a matter of time. I'm not saying that tomorrow this will happen, but just saying that it's what he's doing is on a different level of impact, utility, and also economic benefits. So if you want just alpha, that's the simplest, most obvious thing. I think there are many other startups that are either in defense or in advanced technologies that are just going to really push the boundaries.
Boeing will get a hell of a contract. Not, you know the story, right? No. So actually, that I think Boeing, yeah,
airplane company.
Yeah. Actually, it's not only that. Actually, they have the defense arm. They have a rocket like NASA contracts for space exploration and so forth. And actually, the contract which they were supposed to develop a spaceship to go to the moon. Actually, they gave two contracts. One for I think SpaceX with 1.8 billion or 2 billion and so forth, and then
cheers.
Yeah, thank you. And I think for Boeing was 8 or 10, and actually they delayed by 4 or 6 years. They were late, and then after several audits on the project, they finally approved to go to the moon. Or to go to basically in the space with the Boeing ship, and then after getting there, they could not fly back. so
it broke in space,
and then contracted again Musk
to get them back.
Yes.
So just understanding that pretty much most of the companies that Musk had when it comes to satellites, rockets, and so forth, they kind of depend a lot, or it used to be like pretty much everything US related, they had a special relation with the government. I think that set a very different trend. Also, if you look, for example, Korean markets with Samsung and so forth, just in the same perspective, those companies working with the government actually changed the country economics from actually being poorer than Somalia, Korean, then to become a market leader. And this kind of sets, like US was before. There are many other examples, good examples that actually when those two forces join and align, they can generate value like nothing else.
China, for example.
Yes, I mean,
it's an example, counterexample, but I mean, it says you can work with the government in different ways, American way or Chinese way.
Well, yeah,
100%. So coming a bit to the crypto space, and I think there's a lot of changes and implications and probably more predictions here. What would you say are the 2-3 most exciting or interesting things that you're looking at or think will happen?
Goatsy.
Yes. You can elaborate a bit on that. We'll definitely come to memes and AI specifically, but what do you specifically from the elections? What do you think will?
When it comes to elections, actually, poly markets definitely stood out to be one of the tools that actually will be perhaps one of the tools that will be embedded into among X. Like if it was X that was dominant or decisive for the entire campaign, then the second one, which is kind of very unexpected tool to come in and get.
Maybe you should explain a little bit what
prediction markets.
I think we discussed also in the previous ones. Yeah, I think we covered.
I know, but
we covered. So it's kind of prediction markets, but where compared to traditional systems where you have this kind of polling, where you go on the street and randomly ask from 1,000 people in a specific area, what do they think about, or what's the likelihood to vote against or take a decision towards something. In this case, basically, this is a platform built on top of blockchain where there's KYC accounts where you need to be from a specific region. Like there is the market will be very specific targeted, similar to the polling side and the measuring data. And then pretty much then you have a kind of betting system where there's a financial implication on it, where people can take a position for yes or no towards something. Yeah. That kind of translates to an occurrency or a lot more realistic data. Where like there was the meme. Just compare back to the other poll. There was the CNN, like the meme from Musk. I think it was DNN. I think the delusional network. For just manipulating and twisting the reality, because there is no financial implication and everything is private held and controlled by a database. Where and just closing the loop here, you basically have direct implication that you can take a position and you actually put. But you're
not actually saying what you would vote, for example, in this case, but what you think will be the winner. So you
can do both, but it's definitely a filtering mechanism where it almost, let me restate what you're saying. Polls have been this very rudimentary, imprecise, heuristic-based view of both propagating propaganda, pure propaganda, because you cannot verify, you can always have plausible deniability, and you can say whatever you want.
Well, so if you still have to be in that, at least if you are a respectable, let's say, polling company, you still have to be in that 3%. But the last elections were exactly in that, how it's called, the error marsh or whatever.
The respectability part, I think, has gone down the window at this election, because it was the most predictable way of actually lying, because you know you've lost, and you know the results, and then you still behave like you have absolutely no idea. And that's one thing where it's 2%, for instance, then you can make it plausibly deniable and so forth. And it's a completely different thing where something is happening and you're ignoring it completely, not discussing about it, even with the assassination attempt, right? Like the guy you're mentioning, the second day that the guy has fallen off his feet or whatever, that some sounds, this was the headline, sounds, there was an assassination attempt, and then the headline was, sounds have been heard and the guy has fallen off his feet. Like,
and rushed off the stage.
Nothing about an assassination attempt or whatever, but coming back to the polling and prediction markets, the key thing is that you can see this as the earliest version of almost learning to write. Definitely interesting and so forth. But it's clear right now that someone was misusing this intentionally, not trying a different version. And the market has discovered a better way of showing you what's the signal right now. Simple.
Yeah, the interesting part here is that actually, up until now, for example, you had a budget for the election campaign, like $500 million to spend to make awareness and so forth. So up until now, you were supposed to buy kind of these companies that were doing this kind of analytics or pulling those numbers about the elections, and that will actually towards and change slightly the view of the voters. But actually, this time, what happened? It is just an assumption, but actually, you have a specific need to allocate the budget from the election campaign to buy the votes on a blockchain platform, right? So they needed to, because it got this kind of attention, and it was on the one hand, of course, the other ones will have all the incentives to buy the attention and towards against.
Not buying votes, buying intentions or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's a very interesting point. And I see also very, 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 it's very rare that you can make or introduce a new element that is so cutting edge technology and so new actually, with the betting factor almost into the election rush. Like it's almost impossible to just bring something new to the table and then also make it successful. But they did an amazing job.
Maybe coming back to the predictions and the 2-3 points that you see exciting and big as implications for the crypto space. It'd be very interesting to hear a bit about that for both of you, and then I'll also share some thoughts. What do you, maybe a prediction? Where do you think things will go 1 year from now? Just broadly, maybe even prices or something like that. Wild, if you have any insights or ideas, and then some implications on the other.
We are making so many predictions. Usually, in the past we were not making predictions, but
we're embracing it.
I know at some point you mentioned making predictions is the best way to look stupid.
Yes, that's good. That's good.
So yeah, let's do that. Let's do it. So for crypto space, I think the stars are aligning right now. We were discussing before that looking at the cycles of the crypto space, although we're like 3 or 4 cycles, it seems that, let's say, the next cycle is theoretic from, let's say, I'm not sure how it's called.
This horoscope.
The horoscope. It's analyzing the last cycles and predicting that will be the same. Usually it's not the same. It seems that, funny enough, was that November this year is the start of, let's say, the next cycle. I'm not going to say bull market. I'm going to say the next cycle that usually starts with the bull market. It seems that November, it's like this 6 months after the last halving of Bitcoin. Usually after 6 months, the next bull market starts. And the last halving for Bitcoin was in April. 6 months is November.
If you'd have to give me a very optimistic or crazy view and a very, let's say, decent conservative view, where would you say next year, either mid next year or next Christmas, things might go?
So usually a bull cycle, usually it will be like 1 year and something like that. So in the next 12 months, we'll see the next.
What's the peak?
Well, from a mathematical, let's say, theoretical point of view, it's somewhere around, I don't know, $120,000, but it might be 150, and I've seen it including around $200,000 Bitcoin. So probably we will be somewhere
So
between,
conservative.
in this cycle. We mentioned, I think, in the last episode, that let's say, the assumption I work when I think about the crypto space in general is that the Bitcoin will be $1 million in 2030.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
The rest are details.
The rest are details. It doesn't matter if this cycle is going to be 100, 150 of 2000, as long as it will be 1 million in 2030. It's of course, numbers are important, but not that important. Important if this how these cycles will look like.
How do you look at, for instance, beside the, let's say, prediction, what do you see as the biggest impact for the crypto space? Do you see any important changes, and maybe what aspect of that, and what specific space are you most bullish on?
Yeah, this is a little bit the sad part. Let's say, I'm not saying I am saying that. What I'm saying is I think we all wanted to see more. Mm-hmm. Besides talking about price, of course, there are a lot of things happening. Sure. But right now, let's say we don't have. We were discussing, let's say, like a browser moment, or I don't know, an Instagram moment, or I don't know, an Uber moment, or whatever you want to refer on WhatsApp or a Facebook moment. Mm-hmm. We still don't have. Mm-hmm. Of course, you can all the time say that Bitcoin is that, mm-hmm. and it's probably, it might be mm-hmm. enough. Although I believe we if we are talking about blockchain, not necessarily crypto or the financial part, Bitcoin definitely can be, and mm-hmm. is already here. I still think there is so much more than Bitcoin, and we don't have yet that. Probably will be AI might be a thing, an intersection of AI, and not necessarily because AI is cool right now and is the new kids on the, let's say, on the town, streets, block, whatever. Might be intersection of that. And of mm-hmm. course, when you say blockchain and AI might be for, I don't know, might encapsulate different areas. That would be financial, that would be, I don't know, a different economy or a different kind of exchange that we don't understand or we don't know. Usually it's very hard to predict,
unless you're creating.
Unless you're creating, and even if you're creating, you don't know if you're going to succeed or you might die. Even if it's a good idea, it might be ahead of time, or it might take 10 more years to be confirmed. I mean, people tried that, and I don't know, Uber and other things were very hard to predict. 100%. I've seen, I think, an interview with the former CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt, something mm-hmm, like that. Mm-hmm. And he said something like, we don't know what will be the next things, but I can tell you a few things that we'll use, And he said, AI is going to, and this was one thing that was really, really interesting, is building a product where you can learn from the users and build on top of that, and the product being smarter and smarter. And this is something that, of course, Google did it for 20 years. And it's not like something new or like you are finding something like that. But he said, right now, having all this AI and all this power, it was very hard to have it. I mean, if you're not Google with, I don't know, $100 billion in data centers and everything. So probably will be something that if you can learn from your users, this kind of product, and grow on that, it will be, what you're going to do that product? I don't know. But as I said, might be the intersection with AI and blockchain, just AI or just blockchain, mm-hmm. but something like that. But
You're curious
I don't want to look
discover.
more stupid.
Yeah. This is just as comfortable as you can get with looking stupid.
I mean, I have some ideas.
Yes. Lucian, coming back a bit before the prediction, what 2-3 things you think are the biggest implications for the crypto space?
there's I think a lot of cash from the VC side waiting on the sidebar or on the sideline. Just I think it's historically speaking, just Warren Buffett has the largest cash sitting on the side to be deployed. It has $300 billion, I think, cash at this point, around that. So there's a tremendous amount of cash that has not been deployed yet during the last 4 years. And that was, I think, because of the regulations, because of lack of regulation and clarity in the market on what's coming up, I think has not been deployed in any way. And that also comes with a certain leverage on top. So I think that won't be just the cash available, but people do tend, whenever there's a bullish feeling operation-wise, to leverage a lot on that. And especially U.S. economy is the best on that. So I think first, economically speaking, there's I think a very crazy potential upside. Unfortunately, I'm again a bit maybe less bullish on how the market feels about the utility coins. I think there's gonna be even more crazier trend towards inside the crypto space towards meme coins and some of the most crazy experiments, and that also again because of the regulation at this point, that crazy enough in US that the only legal way to launch something and play with the market and literally promote the shit out of it would be a meme coin, like something, just do a casino play, and that's totally fine. So if you're an ambitious founder at this point, you want to build the most serious company, you cannot. But if you want to literally build a trash coin, a goatee coin, goatee Maximus, and all that kind of stuff, that's legal, right? So I think that should be like, if we want, I literally hope that we will see a change towards that immediately, such that a lot of the companies will be able to exist, will be able to serve the US markets, will be able to connect to those traditional ones, and then basically that could give a lot more hope to the utility coins. But at this point, I think still there's a lot of potential upside. But I think the crazier bets and the even crazier perspective would be even that there will be memes inside the crypto space that will overtake the old one, right? So especially with the new trend. So as I said, I'm just going a bit towards a lot more exotic stuff. I think you guys have covered very well, politically speaking, and so forth.
I'll add just one more thing, maybe, please, regarding crypto space and the AI intersection. I still believe on DeFi. There are still things that might come there, probably in different flavors, maybe without necessarily a token is behind DeFi, or with the token. But I still believe DeFi, from a very, let's say, abstract or from potential economical point of view and financial point of view, I still think DeFi can and will be something very, very interesting. Probably will be different in some perspective, and also not very different. But I still believe there, although there is a lot of, let's say, passion there was a lot of ups and downs when you talk with DeFi, and I believe people are very, let's say, attached to that feelings and emotional about that. I still believe DeFi will be and will have a saying, probably even in this cycle.
So 100% on the technology, I'm very bullish. But however, let me ask, change a bit the question. Have you guys used any DeFi product and leverage any kind of strategies in the last 30 days, 60 days?
Leverage?
Like you do any kind of specific actions on a DeFi platform where you try to optimize your position, or do some more than just a swap, like swapping on Uniswap or X Exchange or whatever, that doesn't means much of a logic. I did, and actually what the reason I'm saying is that it kind of challenged a bit my brain. To stay up to date, like there's when it comes to DeFi and mass adoption, I think there's an extremely big need of abstracting the complexity, like the complexity of each of the products to be able to manage a portfolio reasonable
not for everybody
It
right
is literally a full-time job with where you need a mathematician and an economist next to you, literally to watch over the numbers and do all the kind of simulations to run. Like otherwise, it's purely monkey. You're doing like. I would almost advise to go into full memes than try to do DeFi strategies if you're not into that. Like and I think that's what people are also. That's how market behaves, regardless of what I'm saying. But I'm still bullish on the technology and so forth. I just see a lot of potential actually that. If we solve this kind of challenges, user experience challenges, and we will embed such that it will become mostly invisible, that will be the ideal case. And yeah,
maybe I'll also add 2-3 points on looking like a fool.
Please.
Yeah, be my guest. Huh? I think again, if I look at the US has been setting the signal. So whenever there was a bull cycle or a bearish market or whatever, usually it was because of the SEC coming in, breaking some people, taking them to prison and all of that. So we've had retail, we've had very specific, let's say, advanced power users, and then institutionals, all interacting with the space, and then also builders coming in. I think what's happening in the US right now will just supercharge each of these trends. For each, I'll just add a note. One, US has effectively outlawed building a compelling startup, advanced technology with a token attached to it. And this is why, in a hidden, silent way, the only open alternative where you don't go to prison is if you build something that explicitly states there's no utility, there's no value, you cannot be convicted as being a security. Yes, this is ludicrous because it just forces everyone to either play that or move outside of the US. Second, retail, again, great taxation. Very difficult to get everything in place. You might get just over investigated by some of the agencies in the US and so forth. So right now, I think that will be also a legitimate option to own crypto, to make it legitimate to do that. And that's extremely important. Then for the power users, of course, the US has just been a hell. Like most of the people that had a lot of money were doing something in the crypto space and so forth, were always trying to leave, like silently project the image that they don't live in the US, that they don't have US citizenship and so forth, just because of how much of a pain this was. And then lastly, institutionals want one thing: clarity, regulation, a path to understanding how this large new thing interacts with their, let's say, assets, their economies and so forth. And all these new categories that people have been building, whether it's real world assets, whether it's decentralized infrastructure, whether it's physical infrastructure, whether it's other verticals like that, these were just people trying to make sense of the bigger trend and trying to integrate it in the current economy. The fact that Donald Trump and some of these new people have cryptocurrency, their owners, are building something in that space and are very near to all the builders that have funded them, that have bet on them, that they'll win, and that they're sort of counter-establishment, makes me very, very excited to see how this will unfold, and also bullish around the space, because US has not been an option up until this point. If you're in the crypto space, US has been a very bad option to be in. And right now it's becoming the de facto option. So if this sees some trend, if a sufficient number of people start moving to the US and saying we're building things not only in AI, for instance, but also in the blockchain space, crypto space, and then some of these other fields as well, and someone like Trump makes this an intention, like let's give them green cards. Let's bet on them. Let's make it simple to pay taxes on that, but then also to be a legitimate player in this ecosystem.
Not sure about the green cards.
Yes, also not sure they're needed.
I mean, they will start deportation and then they will filter and give green cards to
whoever is left will get the green cards. But I think at the end of the day, all this will translate into prices, because prices, in some sense, everything that people care about prices, because prices are just information embedded into something. And this is why I do believe indeed that we'll see Bitcoin far above 100,000. And that also means that the entire space will explode a bit. That will have some very exciting cycles where you see not only memes, but then other potential use cases that become super, super interesting. Which brings me a bit to MultiversX. Like, if there were one thing that you're seeing or are excited about or would double down on, what's that thing? And this also brings us a bit to X Day and MultiversX and what we've been seeing in the ecosystem. Let's maybe switch to that, because that's also in this bullish cycle. Where are things going? What's one thing that's exciting?
Maybe one thing before getting to the exciting part. I'm just turning and looking a bit where we are right now. So it feels like, given our discussion, that mentally I'm kind of pushed out of Europe. Like, I started feeling this more and more, but it feels like the last months, especially now with the shift on different jurisdictions towards crypto, like UAE, being a lot bullish, like the big time on with zero taxes, allowing to buy properties, launching their dirham, a big stable coin, and all that kind of stuff. So, but by the way, there's a very interesting angle with the dirham pegged stable coin. So dirham actually is pegged to $2, US dollar, but indirectly, so that will allow actually for everybody to kind of trade the dollars without going through the US jurisdiction. So that's a very, very interesting angle to be played there. Anyway, but going back actually now, that's one of the jurisdiction that is extremely bullish on crypto and the entire industry. Secondly, US now has a lot of potential. But when it comes to Europe, I mean, man, hard to be excited about it. I think Italy just, I'm not sure if you saw, Italy just put actually 46% tax on Bitcoin or crypto income.
I'm not sure if it's even more extreme with unrealized profits.
Pre-reach. So tax on pre-reach.
Future poor.
Yeah, so this is what you're excited about.
No. So actually, I'm not sure if what I should feel. And then also there's a less, like, on the one hand we have MiCA coming up, which gives us specifically to one of the projects that we're working on an extremely interesting angle and unique position. However, DeFi, going maybe just back to the DeFi part, of talking to some other founders and other people into a management position from other ecosystems, from other foundations, actually came up to my attention that we should definitely look very specific into MiCA when it comes to DeFi, because as it seems right now, it's extremely bearish for the DeFi ecosystem. So it means kind of, I might have no idea. I need to see a lawyer and have some proper diligence on this. However, they were saying that any kind of protocol, digital protocol that process upwards of $1 million per year, it's fully obliged to become regulated,
depending on whether they're decentralized or not. There might be a thing, and this is a good moment to actually add this one element, that nothing we discuss and say here should be taken as financial advice and all of that. So please consult
legal.
Yes. Please consult your financial advisors, lawyers, and all of that. And just worth stating that
we have no idea what we're talking about here.
It's
just memes.
100%. But exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
But maybe just a bit. That's something that I would look into first, then make sure that will be helpful to have clarity on. But going back to maybe the exciting part, I think
not much.
No. That definitely. So I think there's given the latest updates of the ecosystem, I think I'm very excited that we did a proper cleanup and put a hard stop on some of the initiatives. We still need to do a lot more cleanup on that, but that allows us and puts the focus back on the what we were doing great. And that, for example, again, I'll go with the very very deep or main mission of the foundation that we started, which is the protocol, building an open protocol. And right now I see, when it comes to the technology part, some of the primitives, or what are the most basic points that you would measure a technology stack, which is in this case the capacity to produce, or the latency to produce a successful block space. To synchronize a world computer state or a world state. And with that in mind, basically, we're going with the upcoming protocol updates towards the edge of peak, what it can be. So, and not compromising on any of the primitives that we have started with the sharding, with decentralized security and decentralization. With that in mind, pretty much we're going towards the peak of the industry again, when it comes to latency, speed, throughput, and so forth. So that's the very first part. Secondly, I think even though there was the entire stage, or the entire Twitter and awareness in the space have been stolen by the elections. In the space, in the MultiversX space, actually, there has been a tremendous amount of development. So I'm actually really happy every time I'm looking at when it comes to the quality of the products that have been built by the founders, and the amount of things that have been shipped, even though there were the darkest hours in the previous times. And maybe just also some context. Speaking of the darkest hours, I think there were some threads on X that were saying that we're kind of at the lowest point since 2021. So Eagle price was actually kind of hitting a bottom, but actually looking
biggest opportunity.
Exactly, and that actually gets us again to the most bullish part. If that was the time specifically before EGLD going to 500. So first it was a literally painful part that actually nobody believed in, and then until there was no proper cleanup, and all the non-believers were kind of liquidated. Actually, the train did not start.
This is how the market works.
100%. And so there's basically a lot of substance there, a lot of cool stuff, and I see a lot of preparation for the markets actually building towards a very, very bullish scenario.
Anything that you're excited about specifically in the MultiversX ecosystem?
3 things. Where we are, and when we are right now, we are in a very, very good position from a technical point of view. We have so many things that are live, that are working, that are great. And what's exciting besides that is how we can, let's say, put this in the US, on the map, and considering US, and how we can, what we have right now to get, let's say, on the retail part, let's say we are okay, we are, let's say, good. If we can get, let's say, jump also on the, let's say, what's the opposite of it? Institutional part. This would be, I think, the
perfect merge.
The 2 things that I'm most excited for MultiversX to reach its potential, that it's there, but it's not necessarily perceived or reflected or accounted for or whatever. So US and institutional investors and of course retail, growing the retail, the developers. So I'm not saying that everything is not important, but those 2 things are the most exciting part, because I believe those 2 things can, let's say,
move the needle
and
reignite the growth.
Reignite everything.
Very interesting. So if I were to add just a few notes, one, I think not a lot has been said, not enough has been said of the great builders that are pushing forward day and night in the ecosystem. And sometimes the loudest voices are the stupidest voices. And it's one person that mistakenly makes it seem like there's 1,000 people or many people believing something. Whereas in many cases, it's literally one person just throwing dirt, throwing bad energy, not doing anything, having too much free time, and just paddling on social media. This is, I want to underscore this. This is normal. There will be many trolls, many people not doing anything, having too much free energy, and just sitting on the sidelines and throwing dirt. So we better get used to it. Better get used to defending and clarifying and so forth, and just moving forward.
Block them. Cut the bullshitters.
That's very fair. That's very reasonable. But I'd say even more, underscoring what's getting done, what's cool, what's interesting is a duty. Because if it's not stated, it doesn't exist. People, we take it for granted that everyone understands stuff. No, people don't understand the things, they don't see them, and we need to overshare on some of the good things that are happening within the ecosystem. And I want to congratulate the builders that are alive, kicking, pushing, and also underscore that this is the natural flow of things. Things will, as a builder, things will not be easy. You got to get used to it not being easy, waking up, finding yourself in the craziest challenges, but then finding pleasure in that moment, taking it on and moving forward. So that's one. Second, just filtering, clean up across all the spaces, because usually you need that for the next explosion. Somehow they're related. Some people just break down, they want to leave, they want to do something else. And some other people just discover things, understand them, and then are there to move forward, to contribute, to be part of this movement. So I would encourage not only builders, but contributors of any kind. When you're there and want to help, there will be many things to contribute to it. I would almost say that the third thing is a realization that I'd encourage everyone to think about. Maybe we've already had the best technology in the world all this time. And then the other things that we've missed were missing the point that this was never a fight about the technology. Maybe this was a fight about ideas and even cults in some sense. Because if you look at Ethereum and Bitcoin, the reason why Bitcoin wins is literally the most undefensible position in the world in some sense. Look, I have a technology from 15 years ago. I will not change it. I will make the assumption that this technology is perfect for whatever I'm trying to do. I will find a use case that I can really sell to the market, make everyone believe in it, and then take this religious position, cultish position that I'm Bitcoin and all the others are a shitcoin. And then I will fight with that and go until the end of the world, until 15 years later, the president of the strongest country in the world, well, surprisingly, takes it and makes it a core thing to the country and whatever. Whereas Ethereum is in this position where everything is very rational, everything is over-discussed, it's so decentralized and so forth, and people have lost it. They don't care. That type of openness that robs you of everything and then just makes all the others look better, take whatever you've got and then look better. Well, I would say that what we have on the technology side and what we have as a position is extraordinary. And then we need to approach it very, very differently. Both with much more excitement, fun, and not taking it seriously. And then with a different type of appreciation of what is happening. Because most of the time, you've already failed when you're taking it so seriously that you have forgotten that people are not robots, that not everyone is technical, that you might be really great in your mind and you understand some concepts, but at the end of the day, people have a very short time frame, attention span, and if it's not fun and makes them either look good or make some money and so forth, at the end of the day, it might die. Although it's very interesting.
I just jump in with again with a meme and said, speaking about making it a bit more fun, and there was a tweet which I loved it actually. So it was Julius Caesar was an emperor. Now he's a salad. Don't take yourself too serious. So when it comes to that, actually, it's kind of funny, but yeah, it's also at the edge of truth. Actually, not taking it too serious, and actually only I think people like if there's something that is contagious is the passion, the love that you show towards something. That's one thing for sure that will conquer more people. If you're not showing that, maybe you should go back and not argue about the tech. You should not argue about pretty much anything.
And I'm not. The thing is here, even this arguing about the technology can be done very smart, very nice, very elegant, in a fun way, where
in a
you
salad way.
Yes, you win the position, or it can be done in the most boring way possible that you've lost the person. Coming a bit to memes, I would almost
just one thing
Please.
to add what I say. I think technology will become important when some blockchains will block when the bull market is in full swing. Then everyone will gonna start again talking about Ethereum, what are the fees? Bitcoin, you cannot do that. You don't have NFT, you don't have smart contracts. Ethereum is like this. Solana is again down. And it's funny that technology is important when it's not working.
yes,
I mean,
but
when it's working and you don't need it, it's not important. But what I'm saying is technology will become again probably
yes, there's a cycle. There's
3-6 months we're gonna talk about
yes.
technology again.
There's a cycle, but I would almost frame it a bit different. And this leads us to the perhaps more exciting or interesting part of the conversation, which is memes. I do believe that everything is a meme in some sense, in a very technical sense, where people consider something valuable to the extent that everyone believes in it. There's a consensus, there's a need for it immediately. And then when that disappears for a split second or for a bit of time, people have forgotten about it. So it is that it is true that technology is a meme, then people are a meme, then the performance is a meme.
was a good meme.
Yes, it was the best meme. Perhaps a good segue into this meme discussion is this. I think one of the most interesting product market fits beside stable coins will actually be memes. And I think that this might be the best, smartest Trojan horse way to actually take people from outside of the space, give them the best fun in the world, and then teach them something in a way that they don't even think about it. So the question is, what form does this take? Why is it happening? And what's the market actually telling us right now? And we can dive into a bit the GOAT meme.
It's not goat. It
Yes.
has actually nothing to do with goats, and don't look into goatsy. It's
Don't look.
Yes,
Just
definitely.
that the brain doesn't perceive the negative.
if you leave I'll just quote Mark. He was saying, if you lived 20 up until this point in life and you didn't heard about it, don't bother to go and look.
But
I never heard about it until today, so
Did you?
okay.
So, quick question. Maybe making it very specific, and then a few crazy things. Did you bet on any memes up until this point?
Yes.
Big,
Of course.
Yeah. Good one. Do you want to share? You want to share some alpha, like anything that you've discovered about memes and why you think they'll exist?
I think I mentioned. I don't remember what episode, the first or the second. Not the that memes are not a bug but a feature of the blockchain space. Is the easiest way to gather a community behind it and launch something without too much, let's say, need to explain what's there, without taking you yourself or the users into serious. And we should not see this necessary as a negative, let's say, trend. Although I used to believe that now, and not because I have coins now, although might be, but what I'm trying to say, this is a feature that can, or a Trojan horse that can bring users. You can understand some stuff, and it's really interesting. But it's not the thing. It's not the thing.
Are you convinced that this is not one of the things? So
I mean, casinos. Look.
It's one of the things, but not the things. The thing is what I mentioned. I'm not sure what will be the Uber or browser moment for the blockchain or crypto. I don't believe memes will be crazy.
Let me take a kind of opposite position, and maybe we'll add some thoughts. The stable coins part have reached the largest product market fit in the world. A lot of wealth being created and so forth. That this is very clear and non-controversial. I think one of the biggest product market fits in front of our eyes that we just did not have a good category or a good explanation to speak about, that has in the last maybe 1-2 months changed only insofar as we gotten a great explanation and mental model around it, is that memes might be the biggest adoption and distribution engine for the normies in the real world, because they provide fun experimentation at a negligible price, and then they open up a completely different market without making you think, without sitting too long and so forth, maybe losing some money and being almost happy about it, because at the end of the day, the assumption is very assumed. So there's the cool part about memes is people cannot complain about them, because it's almost like you're stupid because you're betting on them, and you're doubly stupid if you also complain after betting on something that should not have any value, right? So this makes you very both free in the sense that you'll experiment, you'll say, look, I'm really stupid, I bet on this thing. And then if it goes to zero, you have no emotions. If it goes to something...
But I believe we are on meme 1.0. We're going to see very soon 2.0, 2.5. That probably will be... I have some ideas.
Yes.
So the funny note is actually one of the first things that I learned into crypto, like in 2015, I think even earlier, I mined a lot of Dogecoin. I mean, that was, I remember I used pretty much every compute resource available. I was reading about start producing wealth when you sleep and all that kind of stuff. And there was one simple contribution towards that, mine the hell out of that Doge. Nice. Yeah. And that was the first part. I took a break for a long time, but actually now, I've seen some.
You are mining Dogecoin again?
Yeah, of course.
but to your point, I think the big point to think about, and probably everyone should definitely not look up Murad and his thesis on memes, because I think this guy has done something absolutely exceptional in theorizing and creating a mental model of how memes might be the most important, let's say, constant prediction market that the world needs for ideas. Because if you think about it, we have a way to price in tangible goods, but there are many intangible goods that are extraordinarily valuable, but we could never price them. Some of them are just ideas that we think about. Some of them are culture, different versions of culture and distribution and beliefs. Some of them are indeed beliefs in some very strange things, if you think about it, and some are even religions. You did not have a good mental model to price them right up until this point. And I think memes are this novel way of pricing these ideas in a temporary way until the market takes them to some other level. So you just see version 1, you have seen the Dogecoin and Pepe and all of that, which is interesting. There's new versions, but then the last version of that was AI created memes. So agents that just take these different forms, do a lot of crazy stuff. It might go to zero, but it's definitely a very interesting experiment. And at the end of the day, finding a better model of valuing attention for the world is what memes are about. You probably have seen that there was this squirrel Peanut that just got
justice for Peanut.
Yeah, just got destroyed and so forth, and it was sad. But then what did people do? Basically, they started the meme coin. It exploded. Everyone bet on it. Some people made some money. Some people lost some money.
It just pumped very well. The justice for Peanut, it just doubled.
Yeah, the thing I think is how not only like immediate players look at that, you're just making some money, but there's a very interesting phenomenon there that I think will be looked at in a similar way as you look at stablecoin as a great product market fit, although it takes constantly shifting shapes. Yeah. Right? Right now it's about this, the flavor is this, then it will change and so forth. And I'm actually quite curious to see how this will play out even on MultiversX, because like we used to see, I think this is a good nudge that we'll see in the community. There are many people that are preparing some things, and we're going to see many experiments, but taking things not serious and allowing yourself to have some fun, to play with them, and to learn something that you even don't get immediately intellectually. That's a great way of opening yourself up to have some fun.
So I would describe this like now listening again and playing this on my head. Actually, it sounds like the ICO bubble, but without the tech. Just drop the high IQ white papers that they were actually proposing something, and people were trying to ship anything to pump that coin. Just drop it and put it on steroids and just make it 100 times faster. So because you don't have anything to ship, it's purely attention, purely I think mechanics of economics and marketing. But maybe to the point that actually with the AI memes, I'm very 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 curious actually how it will play out on the long term. The bot actually, that the story that I was telling earlier is
will get married and will lose half of his code, and he will commit suicide.
Yeah. So
reborn.
The quantity of trash talk that the bot is doing is at a next level. And actually also the part with the AI meme. So I think there will be a lot of experiments towards that on that, but again, it's very interesting that I cannot foresee or kind of predict the way the path it will go.
So I will just also drop a bit the next thing, and we're actually probably very close to a conclusion. So memes, I believe, in some sense, will be the biggest product market fit besides stable coins. And this is going to shock people, but we'll see institutionals actually deploying money and making it very rational. Just in culture, betting on ideas, betting on culture, just as prediction markets, constant prediction markets that you'll see every day. And this is both reflection of people discovering something, but also people just exiting the system, because it's almost a rejection of the system. You believe the system is rigged, and then you'll just do some stupid experimentations with these things just because you believe, interestingly enough, you believe that you might do something better with this than actually betting on the alternative, the pure stock market, the normal 9 to 5 and all of that. So that's a very interesting thought that is emerging and people are betting on. And I'd like to see where this goes in the future.
No. So I think it's kind of reasonable why people try to play with this. Like if you take the other path, first you have the job, then secondly you save some money and invest into some stocks, and the stocks need years to evaluate, and maybe depending on the economy, you might turn out to actually lose money on the stock, which happens pretty often. So even though you do all the reasonable things, it's kind of impossible to have the winning ticket, the lottery ticket. And if we look like, especially generally speaking, for the mass consumer markets, they tend to have a very huge appetite for casinos, right? For gambling. Like there's kind of a fun thing on just going to bet on sports, on whatever, and even though most of the people don't win, it kind of becomes fun for them. It's a social thing, like the same way people go for whatever other activities. I saw a lot of this kind of groups that they do jointly do this as an activity, just go and bet and spend a lot of time. And I think on that social part, this is kind of the closest thing that comes to attaching and just decentralizing or digitizing the casinos. I would say a lot of that, but also it is one of the win, a possible winning ticket that is just jailbreaking the entire system for you. If it's kind of lottery. I would say more than lottery plus social.
I have a different view on.
Please.
What I think.
Curious.
The memes I like. Let's put it like this. Not necessarily a contract.
This is just the mass consumer. Like a view on the mass consumer. I'm not saying that the memes, what they are designed and purely.
I understand. I said that what I would like to see on memes,
sure.
And the memes is not necessarily. Probably it's just wording, but is not betting. Is how fast you can get a community behind you. What's the reason for the community to come besides money? Because it's money and something else. And this is where the battle is. Because everyone that goes to the memes, I think they have in mind also the upside.
I mean, it's also the social.
But there is something. Of course. In crypto, you might say, since it's new, since you don't know, since it's not Bitcoin, might be a bet. But I think there's also the other component that is also important is how you get that community, because there are like 1,000 memes probably launched every month or whatever, getting the attention.
But so to take the opposite view a bit and restate what you're saying, because this is what I was saying before. I don't think. So the people have come initially with the idea that this is just, and this was the last year or the year before that this is just a different type of casino. And this was the bearish thesis on memes. What people have discovered right now is that there is a technical way in which a meme, forget the currency, a meme is just the simplest, most compelling idea that has a spreading potential in it, and some ideas, like for instance Christianity or some other ideas like that, they captured and survived for hundreds of years.
Read a story.
You know? And and they have a capability and the potential, and I think it's that more than the stupid stuff. There are daily ideas, but there are some ideas like that I believe will be priced in, and we're going to see some market caps of ideas as social movements, as spreading dynamics, as experiments that will immediately shift our perception of what we'll see. So it's almost like...
So you're telling me you're gonna just buy for $10 million this coin that is about
Jesus coin and Allah. I'm convinced it will happen.
And you're just gonna hold a $10 million
And not me,
Jesus.
not me, not only me.
So
there will be millions of people.
If he goes to heaven,
front run.
not gonna sell.
Yes,
if he goes to hell, gonna sell everything.
Someone will front run me and create this and just make a fortune. No, but I'm saying this is the interesting part about memes that we're going to see play out, and what people will discover here.
Have you bought the Glonk one? You know Glonk? Just there's a character. It purely says it dies absolutely nothing and dies. It's a green fat alien kind.
On the other hand, I believe memes are a very good excuse. As you said, maybe just putting it differently, a very good excuse to first to launch something.
Yes.
I'm now talking about an experiment. And I believe even if it might start as an experiment on something not so serious, it might become something serious once you have the users and coming back. If you can learn from those users, you can then build. You can build something on that. So memes are a good excuse. I believe there will be. There will be 100. There will be a few memes, probably coins, that will survive multiple cycles and that will gather a community behind. That with that community can build then something just say more meaningful than just a GIF or whatever funny thing. You can build on that. Also like maintaining, let's say, a little bit the original stuff, but then a little bit pivoting or building.
Sure. So there is a challenge now, at least with the legal standpoint. So you people like at any point in time they say don't put any utility on it. Like don't go.
Yeah, but the funny thing on memes, you can do it without having anyone behind. Do it anonymously, It's like most memes are. You don't know what's there. It's just a smart contract, very let's say transparent. Everything is blocked. You put it in the pool
and it's gone.
And it's gone. Yeah, but it's.
You can do it. Yes, if you're expecting it, it's assumed. Now switching to an interesting meme. Speaking of which, and this transitions us to the last, let's say, section with some cool questions and interesting, fun way to end after this subject. I think one of the most, at least my feel of it, given that, let's say, my nights I've spent in some sense in the AI space for years now. And some things I've not shared and have not been have not come to the point where it's ready for the world to see. I think one of the biggest product market fits beside memes will be one in some sense predictable payment space, but the unpredictable, the non-obvious truth, I think, will be the AI space. And I think just simplifying things and setting a bit the context, and perhaps then I'll also ask something of each of you, is everything we've built in some sense, whether it's scalability, whether it's smart contracts, whether it's this way of digitizing everything, once you look at through the AI lens, especially AI agents, all of a sudden will be taken to its limit, because humans are slow. Like, humans have had money before, they've exchanged things before blockchain. They will continue to do their stuff, like gray stuff, trying to rob the system and so forth. And it's counterproductive for them sometimes to adopt blockchain. But AIs will not be able to explode, take over the world, and create things without this element. So I'll stop right there and then say this, I believe, will be the biggest product market fit during the next period, and it will explode and so forth. We'll probably explore some things and at the right time share some things. But curious if you've seen any use case outside of the crypto space, but then maybe inside, just that is extremely exciting from what you see. And then perhaps one use case each, and then we'll go to some.
I'll start. But it's hard to it's hard to erase the truth terminal from my head when it comes to as I said, everything what was predicted that AI will do for the crypto industry, and the first thing it does some memes. So literally the most nasty ones.
Built what users want.
Yeah. But
I think that the truth terminal part is one of the most interesting memes in the world.
Yes, it is.
Both because it says the craziest things, strangest things, weirdest things, but then also the most genuinely interesting things to think about. Like excluding the stupid stuff. Don't Google it and
but
don't
what's
look
the
at
percentage? Because if you have to read one,
no, it's 90% stupid.
Okay.
Like 90 plus.
But just state the context. The context because you stated just that this bot got bootstrapped, set into motion, but the fact that it reached 500 million or almost 1 billion, like 800 million in a few weeks from start with
he was buying and selling.
Yes,
buying and selling. Yeah,
but he was a bot.
So I encourage there's a A60G crypto. From Mark Andreessen, like he's having an episode. So there's a longer episode for where the both of the
short story. But the short story is not that how it started. It was Mark sent a no strings attached grant to a guy that was great with AI stuff. He's secretly building a AI startup, very interesting stuff. But then started an experiment of bootstrapping an AI and letting it talk with another AI. And this was called the infinite back rooms. And they were starting to discuss this in infinite rooms, a set of infinite sets of conversations, not infinite, but you understand the idea. And some of them were crazy. Some of them were absolutely fascinating about different subjects. And then he retrained this other bot, put it live, and started to gradually give it more autonomy and space to execute some things. This is just the most fascinating experiment with a social media account. And then it started to interact with people. Yesterday, it challenged Musk to a debate about AI and where the world was going.
Also
and
yesterday, actually was Andy, the creator, actually said it's very, very, it hurts extremely hard when your child starts working against you. And there was a prompt in the back end from the AI telling the LLM generate a video of Andy jerking off.
Oh my god!
Literally, like that's the how crazy the LLM just putting a bit.
So what's the most exciting use case if you think about it? Is this
no? So this is just I'm just giving a bit more context. I didn't want to do like there's a pattern, but I've seen a bit less like before going towards AI. There's a very interesting case about stablecoins again. I think Stripe just acquired the Bridge company for 1.1 billion, which is an unified API for stablecoin and everything related to stablecoin payments, which actually is setting a new trend. Like it's setting a new standard where those biggest companies will become and embrace 100% at this point with the speed and the resources put in. I think there will be a crazy amount of opportunities. Like the same way we have extended Rails over MasterCard and Visa and created all kinds of networks, blockchain in itself is like fiber channel distributed all around the globe where you can just plug it in and pretty much start using it. And imagining also now connecting towards those new fiber channels, new clients, new devices that could carry on and interact with the network.
I think we'll do. I think we'll do an entire episode specifically on this, just because it's a great subject, a lot to dig in, to look at, and we might do it with the leads actually for probably X Money.
100%.
So might be an interesting subject. Now let's nail something on the AI part. Then you, myself, and then we'll.
You killed my stablecoin.
Yes, we're coming back to the stablecoins. They're not going away.
No, cool. I let you guys take over the AI part.
We'll come to Lucian. Any exciting use case that you think will be cool or you're looking at?
Before saying one exciting thing, I believe AI and intersection of AI and blockchain is the funny thing is I've just seen a few days ago one interview with the so-called founder of AI, George. I don't remember the name. I think he used to work for Google or something like that.
Sure.
And one thing that he mentioned is that although we as humans designed the AI, there is a point where he said we don't understand what he's doing and how he's doing because he's learning. And the other question, this was one question, is how we design something and that thing we don't understand after a point. We cannot, beyond the point we don't understand how is it working. And the other thing is if he's aware, if he has a consciousness. And he said, not yet. But he said definitely it will become self-aware, like in Terminator. This is not necessarily, it's exciting, but also a little bit how far we are already and still what is to come. Coming back to what is exciting at the intersection of AI and blockchain is I've played a little bit with the marketplace. Now there is a marketplace for different use cases where you have different agents and stuff like that. And these agents are using other agents or are using something that is trained by a specific use case and stuff like that. And definitely there will be a point that they need at some point to communicate or to transact some kind of value or do some stuff. And definitely I don't believe they will use, let's say, just
normal rails.
If you're thinking just about payments or exchanging some value or doing some trading or bartering, I give you 1 minute of, image processing for 1 minute of French. It could be crazy kind of marketplace. Definitely blockchain can be the space where you want agents to interact with others, exchange value, whether it's coins, money, Bitcoin, stable coins, whatever, or exchanges resources, stuff like that. Definitely it's almost impossible to think about what we have right now, let's say, on the financial or payment system. But if you go even beyond the payment, you'll need a blockchain.
100%. So I do believe that blockchains at their best are open protocols, and open protocols means that by default they are API first.
API, smart contract, you can just
exactly.
whatever you want.
Programmable open interfaces for whatever we want. When compared to everything else, they're kind of niched. Use case, users, UI centric, for mostly also with outdated interfaces for 20, 30 years. I was actually just seeing some German bank interfaces yesterday when laughed how German they look, like literally 20 years ago stuff. And actually, when you think that those new technologies are actually natively gonna talk to those systems, then I think blockchains do have an edge, like all the primitives that could potentially win.
Different use cases, because what we have
100%.
is just payments. If you need, you need a call, an API call, you don't expect to get that call or changing only money you could change there. But on the other hand, coming back to we don't understand at some point what they are doing, they will become self-aware. And then you have access to a blockchain and an ability to exchange whatever they're going to exchange, value, coins, resources, time, whatever. Then they will launch Memecoins, will have their own wallet. They will launch their own exchange. It's very easy also to go on the different sides where you have very, that's why probably, and as I said, when we were talking about Trump, that there are things we don't know. Definitely on the AI space, because we've seen so many, let's say, warnings, including from the people that were involved, not from the regulators, that is a little bit scary.
It is.
Because once you don't understand what you're designing and that thing is smart and then all the people on the world or that existed ever is smarter and it becomes self-aware is, well, you don't understand. Probably can control it. There is a very interesting, by the way, show. Next is called, I don't know if you saw it. It's not very popular. It's about an AI that is going. He wants to preserve himself and how he's doing that, And people are trying to know, not connected to the internet. Anyway, it's funny. But keeping on the positive side, this is a very exciting, as I said, thing for AI that will become doing stuff that we don't understand, and that will need blockchain. And hopefully this will be for the benefit of the humanity. And maybe the last thing I have in mind regarding the AI is a thing that is not very, we talk about it, but in a negative way, but I have a very different view, is when we talk about creating stuff, art, music and stuff like that. I see people have a very strong opinion against, but I believe mediocre artists will be able to create masterpieces of stuff. I mean, just because if you know something, it will, even if it's just a statistical game through AI, I believe we're going to see, at least on the music side, but probably on the other side, on the art side, although it's something that we believe humans are the
peak of creation.
We have the monopoly on the art or creation. I believe there will be some crazy stuff that even if it's AI power or AI was involved, we're gonna love it.
I was in an airport and wanted to contribute to a meme coin, and actually use an AI to generate a page for a meme coin and deployed it in 10 minutes. Like, it took me from zero to make it up, like clean it up, just put it out there and deploy it from zero in 10 minutes using so I think Cursor AI used, and Versal and some stuff like a ChatGPT actually. What's the short? I have 10 minutes. Tell me what I need to do this for. This stuff. Here's the team. Walk me through the tools. I got the tools already set up, and then it recommended and got the task done in 10 minutes. Like, when it comes to creativity and all kinds of
productivity.
Productivity.
It's a combination, yeah.
So maybe a few points that I would make to capture the idea that you were pointing to and you were pointing to, and maybe take it a bit to the limit. I do believe that during the next 3, 6, 12 months, we're going to see capability in AI agents and large language models that far exceed genius level capability in humans. And as a prediction, starting from this year onwards, I think most of the Nobel laureates in any subject will be won by people aided by AI agents. There's already chemistry won by the DeepMind founders and so forth, just for protein folding and what was done. But humans are already out of their water in terms of competing. But I think this is the brilliance. If you learn to use these tools, you can create a symphony more beautiful, more compelling than anything that has been created. Because at the end of the day, this is a tool. And with that tool, you can go both in creative ways and hyper-productive ways in a way that you never imagined. I also think that this will feel like a new industrial revolution. So not a new platform, as a paradigm where you think, is this the new platform that we're building and so forth? But it so far exceeds what intelligence means, what capability means, that it makes you, in any respect where you were mediocre, you can elevate yourself. And then in the respects where you were genius level, you can ideally penetrate some new truths about reality, what can be done in the deepest realms of physics, math, engineering, energy, whatever. And then coming to this point of what's much more interesting is that you'll essentially see a tool for almost every capability that you use, there's almost one already. If you think about it, whether it's writing, engineering, code writing, design,
girlfriends,
and so forth.
I've seen even girlfriends.
Yeah, that's taking
Yesterday
off.
I started to, I don't know for what reason, the algorithm started to target me.
They got you.
Only yesterday started.
You're a simple man.
But
I was
I'll
like,
reach to 100, the next 100x bets in a second. But I think this will be incidentally the most interesting and high potential bet that we'll see in the blockchain space. I don't want to go too deeper because we could, and we'll probably discuss in a conversation only about this. But
Episode 6.
Yes, maybe that or some other episode. There's a new model coming from OpenAI very soon. That's just alpha for people. It's already there. It's the what was supposed to be GPT-5. Not disclosed, but then already discussed with military and the most important agencies, showcased. Very powerful, very interesting, and I think people will get a bit excited about that. And then agents, I do believe, will be study agents. If you just do one thing, study agents, because they'll eat you, the world, and then will also make you a better person if you can use them. So just that. I'll shift to the last three questions.
I have
for us.
a question. No, I have a question. Like I've just seen like there's a nice documentary a bit about the Mark Zuckerberg and his new updated persona, actually, and how it evolved and how it changed the perception over the company. However, the like not forgetting that he has perhaps the most amount of personal data from any, like most of the like billions of people on Earth, and also eventually he also has Llama, right? Which is one of the most efficient LLMs, open source LLMs, and so forth, which kind of changed the perception about and pivoted a lot the perception about Meta as a company and so forth. So made it definitely cool. But like, don't you think that there's at least one trial on your data, personal data, ran on an LLM?
100%.
And then the question is, what do you think that LLM could tell about you?
Scary things.
I mean,
scary in a good thing, in a good way.
I see why they targeted you with AI girlfriends, but
in base, the truth will set you free. There's actually no point that you'll be able to harness this without ingesting as much as possible about you and then aiding you. I think that's the most exciting part. The faster you embrace it,
I'm not sure
the faster Mark would be happy.
So the question is, if you would never get the access to your own information, at least to be self-aware about that, then basically you'll never know what could be played against.
No,
right?
So let me reframe the question. Would you choose to be an Amish or just give that? Because this will be the question.
But
you'll be outside. If you don't share it, you'll be Amish.
So no. What I'm saying here is, at least I would love to be aware to get the same data. Like if you have, I don't want to have all the data from all the, like everything that I can,
yours.
At least mine,
sure.
And have access to whatever you guys, like the company is holding against.
I'm not going to share my data. I know you want that, but I'm not going to share it.
Amish for life.
Yes.
I think they will be so performant. You don't need to share it. Just if you know the three brothers and your wife, they will extrapolate 100%. And they will know 90% of you without even you sharing anything.
That was just actually goes towards the next experiment, that actually there was a bit of a play down with LLMs on some other people, and just some random public information about someone using the new Meta glasses, that you suddenly go to talk to someone and you can tell like you have the context of manipulating the discussion just coming and say, hey, I know that what you like, I know your cat, I know whatever, and then you just go towards and you hit whatever you want.
Look, there's also weaponization of this, and this we transition a bit in the last section. But I'll take the idea and just say this. Imagine that there was this funny joke in 2014 that people discovered some very strange things about themselves through Facebook. That Facebook could extrapolate through social engineering some ideas about when a person was pregnant before they knew. People discovered that in a surprising way when someone was like very strange things that people did not know even themselves. I think scale that 1000x and imagine what you could discover first about yourself and about the world. That's more scary. Exciting than scary. Let's transition into the last part. Some lessons, some insights, some bets. Very simple and very straightforward. What do you think is the next bet you'd make for a 100x? Just in the current economy, if you think about stuff.
If it's 100x, crypto in general.
I'll share my alpha. Just bought some more EGLD.
Okay.
And I'm not joking. Yesterday did my humble. I woke up and then for some reason I felt the call. I said, feels like, it was exactly on point. Like everybody was talking, all my groups, there was a lot of chatter and say, hey, there's gonna be like, this is the day you can buy a discount stuff. Like it's Black Friday is the last day before. And it's
Black Friday soon.
Yeah, I would. The funny part, I'm already actually all in. I would not use the other meme to call this kind of all in stuff. But that's the first part.
So you'd say just crypto
in general, of course, gold as well.
Okay.
AI. Yeah, and AI.
For me, 100% it will be AI and crypto, and I'll give my signal at the right time. For now, moving to the next question, like if you thinking about what we discussed in the other podcasts, and you think about what it means to win, what it takes to win, how things look, and looking at this current election, what would be the one thing that you think is a great lesson on what it takes to win, given what we've seen unfolding in the world? Not long answer, but rather one thing that you think really matters.
Musk.
Okay, that's a fair answer.
I like one word.
Well, I'm going to answer like talking about politics, but you can apply to.
Sure.
You can extrapolate. These elections were. Let's say Trump is winning these elections because he understood a thing, talking about people and with people that I believe, let's say Democrats were talking about principles or like some abstract stuff or not being very clear. And I think, going directly where is the pain or what people want or talking exactly what they need or what they want. It's more important than, talking about some ideals, abstract, even it's important. I said democracy, being, your own master of your own body and stuff like that, and economy in general and stuff like that, and helping others and being a little bit more equal or not, which I don't necessarily agree with that. But sometimes it's more important to go directly to the target and not discuss about, the target looks like this, we're going to do this. No, just go there. And this might apply in general in life. Sometimes there are maybe two reasons we don't do it. It's not clear for us, or we are kind of, for whatever reason, afraid to go, to the target. Most of the time, where the target is, how to do it. But I don't know, for whatever reason, we try to, like we are afraid or that we might be mistaken. And then if we are more unclear, then if we are mistaken, then we can pivot.
There's one golden rule that I actually try to apply and I'm trying to remember every day. Like there was one thing. do what you said you're gonna do.
I don't know what the priest is doing.
Yeah. No. But what if you said that you're gonna do something? If you said that you're thinking about it, go get it. Go get it. No, don't sleep too much on it. Don't avoid it. Don't become philosophical about it.
Yeah, good.
Just do it.
My take on it would be what if there's a lesson, and then you see this again everywhere, is in one of the parties, one of the camps, there was an insane will and hunger to win, unlike anything else. Like literally betting not all in, 1,000% in, and that turned out to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. But at the end of the day, it's fascinating and surprising that what it takes is this insane desire that then translates into almost things opening up in front of you.
You know, there is a book, but it's a sports book. It's called How Bad Do You Want It? And the book is about the 1% of 1%. So they genetically are favored. They train. They have everything. They have the mind on that. And then the only difference is the 1% of 1% is how bad do you want it. This is the difference between number one, winning, and number two or number three. Everything, of course, they are not equally, but in general, they have the physical capabilities and although the mind. How bad you want it is actually more about the mind. This is where the difference is, and this is actually what you are saying. They want it really yes. bad, and this made not the difference, a lot of difference.
All the difference in the world. Difference. Now, last point, and then conclusions. Any great book or great movie that you think is just very useful on winning, or very very good to read or think about?
Movies I've rewatched recently. Cloud Atlas. It's from the Wachowski sisters now, the ones that made Matrix and others. It's from 2012. The movie. It's a movie I've seen recently, and I really liked it. It's not saying a spoiler. It's about how things are interconnected, even beyond time and space. I think it's not an easy movie on the other hand, but it's very, very good. And on the books, we were talking before, a book I read, I think last time 10 years ago, is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. It's a very book I enjoyed, but I didn't remember why. And in some context, someone remembered me about this, and now I'm reading. It's, if I want to say just 2 words, although it's like a tagline, it will not mean a lot for many people. It's so-called magic realism. So it's not science fiction, but it has some magic parts in it. But it's a very, very nice book. I would recommend. It's considered one of the greatest books ever written by many smarter people than me. So it's not just,
very interesting.
I think he won the Nobel Prize for this book, I think.
Really?
So I would recommend.
Very interesting. Lucian?
Yeah, I was just looking. So I just started the principle for dealing with the changing world order, Ray Dalio. So it's exactly on point.
Principles.
I got it as a recommendation for many of my friends that actually when it comes to reasoning about and putting a framework to elections, to everything on that end, and not just navigating by reading news, this kind of gives a very, very good in-depth overview and reasoning method. So that's that. On the other hand, I just watched again some A60Z crypto. They have even more materials from the CSX, I think, bootcamp. So they are inviting a lot of founders or partners from there, from pretty much everything related from marketing, go-to-market, product market fit, distribution, design, token design, architecture design, like a lot of the stories. And then basically I was trying to, that's what I did for the last 8 years, 10 years. and still trying to find the time to use on that. And then there's a very good one actually on the branding. Branding and distribution. I'll totally recommend. I think we should have a chat on it.
100%. I'll mention two books. Maybe we were discussing about them. One is Open, unlikely book. Interestingly enough, it seems that it's about sports. Just Andrea Agassi's autobiography, but it's actually absolutely hardcore about life, elite trials and what this takes, what price you pay, but then also some very useful lessons, funny in some respect. You almost cry a bit, but then you also laugh a bit. So surprisingly good book. And then one that's probably one of the most
read that one as well.
Strong.
I'm still crying.
Yes.
I can see.
Strong philosophical filters right now is The Beginning of Infinity. Just very good tools, mental tools to think about reality, to filter things, and to almost, I think the biggest point is it trashes pessimism and negativism, which always had this intellectual superiority complex. Like people who were pessimists and skeptics and so forth always try to be super, let's say, well-reasoned and so forth. And then he just shows that at the end of the day, this is not the strongest position. It's the sometimes laziest or most cowardly position in some respect. And there's a point there of actually finding new knowledge, discovering new things, understanding new things. And as long as it's not something that you're trying to do which is outlawed by the laws of physics, in the future, you'll have better knowledge, better insights, better ideas about how you could solve almost any kind of ideas.
Is this in contradiction with this saying that stupid people have convictions and intelligent people have doubts?
No, I think that was for some time, but I don't think that's the case anymore. I think Musk has demonstrated in practice that you can both be really bold and optimistic about the future, and not be irrational about that, but rather like that's the best position in the world, because in some sense, whether you believe it or not, it will turn out to be a reality.
I think also just giving some more context about Musk, that he speaks, I think, in the Rogan, I think with Peterson interview, actually, where he started looking for the truth, actually, and physics. Actually, were the point that actually were the most mechanical laws, the most correct mechanical laws that define our world, and that's where you basically start building the. So that's where you can, when just giving some more context about the doubts and the.
It's a saying that sounds nice when you drink a beer.
Yes, yes.
I don't endorse it.
That's good. That's good.
Although I doubt about it.
Look. Ending on one interesting and maybe exciting conclusion. This is just ideas shared around things that we go through, that we learn from, and that we try to just distill for builders, people in the community, and just people in the tech space, startup space, learn from. The next interesting things that we'll think about is, one, we'll be visiting the US. Two, we'll be visiting the UAE region, the Asia region. I think the world during the next period will just explode with ideas, new things happening, and even new use cases for the entire space, whether it's the tech space, blockchain space, and so forth, with this new will and ambition to really push things forward. I'm extremely interested and excited about the US. And it will be very, very interesting to see what's happening.
I mean, if we hit the bottom, now we're going to the top. Very easy. I mean, it was tough, the last cycle, I would say. But just to quote a very wise man here. We're just starting the new cycle. And I mean, let's fucking do it.
Lucian,
I'm looking for the 4th episode, Star Wars. You know, Star Wars started with the Return of the Jedi. I'm not sure what was but anyway, Star Wars, because there was a tweet with war mode on. So the episode 4 is Star Wars.
Let's do it, guys. Have a great one. Great to be here with you, and curious to hear your thoughts and feedback and so forth after you take a look. I think we're just starting out and warming up with every new episode. Thank you. Take a look at what we're doing, what we're building, and come say hi from time to time. Take care.